So what exposes you to more radiation? Visiting Ground Zero with the first atomic test, or a 6-hour flight to Honolulu? What is background radiation? It's the radiation that's around us all the time. Some of it comes from space, and some of it comes from radioactive elements in the ground. So the higher you go up in elevation, the more radiation you're going to be exposed to because there's less air protecting you from that radiation. The air actually does stop some of the cosmic radiation coming from space. Here at SETAC, it was kind of interesting seeing how the radiation changed, getting into cruising altitude. It's been a while since I've flown, probably since 2017. On our way to Honolulu. Should be fun. I'm kind of curious to see what the radiation is going to be on that flight. It might be a little bit more because we might have a higher cruising altitude. We'll see. Alright, gonna get some breakfast, and a beer, some stuff like that. Should be fun.
You got a really good action shot. He's filming me because she was
breakfast beer.
Anyway, and she's telling me now she wants chips. We don't have to buy chips because they don't have it. Yeah.
I'm on vacation. Alright, it's that time to board.
Out again. When you get to your row, just step out of that main aisle, allow folks to get by you to their seats before you stow your things. If you have two bags, your small bag goes underneath the seat in front of you. Your roller bag goes.
But it's easy, you just take a bus.
Yes, because I'm not big on ships or the Navy.
So I had an interesting conversation with the cabin crew. They're very aware of the radiation exposure of working as a flight attendant. So we'll see if they actually come and visit me down in row 26.
Oh yeah, you go with it.
I went in the first three.
Well, again, welcome aboard Alaska 893. That's service to Honolulu. As mentioned, 5 hours and 47 minutes en route today. Your captain is John. Your first officer is Mary. My name is Cynthia. With me are Sandra, Carol, and Lainey.
The radiation readings are a little lower inside the aircraft because of its hull. It actually shields some of that cosmic background radiation.
Loyalty programs will have even more exciting benefits to share with you next year. In the meantime, visit alaskaair.com Wi-Fi network to get started. Of course, your headphones are always required.
The reason for the discrepancies between the RadIB20 and the Radiacode 103G that I was using is because the Radiacode actually does energy compensation. So when it sees a lower energy photon, a gamma ray, come in, it'll actually kick down the dose rate, so it's actually more representative of the dose that's being absorbed into a person. Whereas the RadIB20 doesn't do that. It's just taking counts or disintegrations per minute and actually converting that over to a dose rate.
Well,
Hi. Well, so it's a little high. Nothing to worry about.
is that good?
Well, that's like usually on the ground, it's like around like 150. So it's like up to like 700.
Yeah, well, years ago, I told you there were little badges, and the guys now, they put some kind of screening up there when they fly. Because
Really?
There's been a lot of people getting cancer.
Really?
Finally.
All right. How high did it go?
Not very high, like 15 times above background. Yeah, that's not that bad, believe it or not. Wow, it's a lot hotter here than in Montana. It was interesting talking to the flight crew of the, flight that we were on, and how they actually said that the airlines do talk to them about radiation exposure and stuff like that. So it was kind of eye-opening because I haven't really talked to too many people with flight crews before. And then I also shared with them my numbers of radiation, like how high it was. I think it got up to like 12 to 15 times above background radiation. Which isn't bad. But I mean, I guess if you're getting exposed to that, all day, every day, it might be not the best thing, maybe. Cool lobby. Wow, this breeze is very welcome. It's actually pretty warm here. It's like around probably 85 degrees. So without that breeze, it's kind of one of those situations where you want to be in the pool at all times. At least for me. I'm from Montana. I like colder weather. But it is very beautiful here. It's the second time I've been to the Hawaiian Islands. Yeah, cool place. But as far as for someone looking for stuff that's radioactive, it's not that great. I mean, maybe if I went to the island that has Kilauea on it, or the volcanic national park that they have here, maybe there might be some more radioactive areas, because sometimes volcanic areas can kind of concentrate some of those naturally occurring radioactive elements. But not here. Even though I do have my Radiacode 103G tracking the radiation while I'm walking around here, I'm just not finding anything. I like the flight into here, which was very exciting.
Yeah. I don't need no stinking sandals.
I
I guess not.
I mean, it's just razor blades.
Wow, the radiation here is like 53 counts per minute. That's like the lowest I've ever seen it for not being inside of like a lead shielded area, like a lead castle. It's actually pretty fascinating because I didn't think radiation levels could get down that low. Oh, wait. All right, I kind of don't want to get the camera splashed here, so I'm gonna get a little higher. Not as cool as the shot, but you know, at least I saw my camera. Yeah, but as I was saying, it's fascinating that there are areas, because most of the places I go to, like all around Southern California, Montana, Nevada, Washington, all these places, they all have higher background radiation levels than this, and some of those places are at sea level. All those places I visit, they all have natural background radiation levels that are much higher than this area, and I really truly believe that it's because of the age of these islands. And I think that the continental shelf in that area, it just has more geologic history and more time to concentrate elements like uranium and thorium and all of that. So I think that's the reason why there's a lot more radiation, background radiation in those areas. This is fascinating because I always thought that the radiation level was kind of like around, like, you know, 150 to 350 counts per minute for background, but Hawaii has kind of opened my eyes to that. Learn something new every day.
Look at these smokers. That's why they're out here. This is the only place they can smoke.
That'd be cool if we got some rain.
Stepped on a razor blade.
We should grab those sandals.
Kind of want some sandals there, huh?
No, that's good. Got old river foot dip. Conch flow.
I could see it maybe raining. You know, the weather's been beautiful since we've been here, which is nice. It's just really warm and great swimming weather. And got fighter jets flying over for Pearl Harbor, since that base is just right over yonder. Hopefully I'm actually going to go there and check that out later this week. We'll see. So I'm out on the North Shore. That's kind of nice because this lava field kind of keeps everyone else away. And so I have my boots on. So it allows me to kind of go over this really sharp lava very easily. Yeah, just out here kind of cruising around. Still have my Geiger counter rolling, or my Radiacode. Still recording the radiation out here. And yeah, so far all around the island it's been extremely low, which I do find fascinating that it would be so low. And like I said before, I think it has to do with the age of these islands, is that they're not very old in the geologic sense. And maybe that might have something to do with why the background radiation is so low here. The place that I live in, Montana, is right next to the Rocky Mountains, and as far as I know, the Rocky Mountains are like a pretty old formation, and there's a lot more stuff going on there geologically, and much more like kind of different mineral deposits and stuff like that, because there isn't, as far as I know, a bunch of gold mining or silver mining out here in the Hawaiian Islands. And I could be totally wrong about that. I'll have to look into that a little bit more and maybe have some type of fact about it. But yeah, so far it's an extremely beautiful place. Really interesting environment. Really cool stuff. So far, if you're coming out to Hawaii to do a little radioactive tourism or nuclear tourism that some people do, so far this isn't the place to go, because there just really isn't much in the way of things that are radioactive. Now, they did have some antique shops that I haven't gone into yet, so I think tomorrow I'm gonna have to rent a car again and see if I can find something in there, because So far, Hawaii is just a beautiful paradise with extremely low background radiation. So if that's one of your concerns, this would probably be the place to come and relax. The only radiation you have to worry about is from the sun, which can be a bit of a problem here. We're at Kualoa Ranch. It's like in the eastern part of Oahu, and I guess that's where they film a lot of movies. Jurassic Park and King Kong and Lost and all those places. Again, really low radiation here. Nothing really to report other than really beautiful environments.
Say hi.
So, obviously this is a prop dinosaur skull. It's not a real one. These are all movie props left over for Skull Island, for Lost, for Jurassic Park. It's kind of interesting to see them. That bunker was kind of cool. Pretty hot in here still. Cool place. I'd love antique shops like this. Again, just like the whole of Hawaii, background radiation is really low. there's a little bit of uranium in there. So far, that's the only thing I found, which is pretty funny. Not a lot of radioactive stuff in Hawaii.
Hey, I figured if it's a style nowadays, why shouldn't I? I mean, there's no reason why it shouldn't. You think?
Yeah, why not?
See, in my day, probably an Olympus pen camera and a twin lens reflex.
That's what you trade your Geiger counter in for?
I still remember doing it. It was a big deal because the Geiger counter was such an incredible looking machine. So what do you do when you find something highly radioactive?
Well, I don't find anything highly radioactive in anywhere of these places. Yeah, like the stuff I find, it's like it's a little radioactive, but not nearly like as bad as you think it is. Something tells me those aren't cigars in there.
Three trees within 100 yards ever of that tree. Have you worked eBay? Familiar with eBay?
I'm familiar with it, but I've done it.
Okay. So, on eBay,
$65.
I'll do it for 65.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Wish I could do more, but you know.
Hey, you know what? I totally understand. Yeah, no, 65 is more than fair. More than fair. I've been doing this for a while, and I always try and like just throw it out there, and then some people say like, no, I can't do anything. Yeah, it's like never hurts to ask. Yeah, so that was Antique Alley. Found some cool stuff there. Yeah, but I'm kind of trapped because people are dropping off stuff for this dance studio, so I can't leave right now. But today is actually my last full day in Hawaii, or Oahu, and then I gotta fly out tomorrow night, and I'll be doing that whole checking the background radiation on the flight back home to see if it changes at all. Since I documented it so well on the way out here, I want to see if it's actually increased through some type of solar activity or something like that. I don't know. We'll just have to see when I'm flying up in the air. But anyway, I can get back to my family, see what they're up to. Again, Antique Alley, great place. Guy and his wife that works there, really, really nice. And so if you're in the Honolulu area and you want to check out a cool antique shop, that's the place to check. Anyway, get out of here. LA traffic in Hawaii. Now it's time to fly back to Montana. I'm really hoping that TSA, or whoever it is that's going to be looking through my bags, doesn't see that azimuth, that naval azimuth thing I got, and detect its radiation and just confiscate it. I really hope that doesn't happen because it's a really cool piece. And I feel like I didn't get enough pictures of it. All right, boarding. After a couple beers and a nice stern talk from the wife, it's time to get on the plane. And we'll see what happens up there with the background radiation. Shouldn't be too much of a surprise. Should be pretty much the same as it was on the way out here, but we'll see.
Vacation for both.
It was our son's birthday on the 12th. His birthday.
So 37,000 feet is the top where we're going to be at. We'll see what the background radiation is at that point.
We are preparing for departure. The lavatories are now closed. Please make sure
Here
you're
we go.
seated back first class on the left and 2 in the ceiling compartment near the middle lobby.
So I was able to know the altitude that I was flying at using an app called Motion X GPS. It's actually kind of an older app. You just buy it outright. You don't need a subscription. But it actually works pretty good at estimating your altitude and speed, and in this case, airspeed with the plane. But it does need a line of sight to enough satellites to pull that GPS information. I was actually losing signal quite a bit while I was flying, having the phone right up against the window of the aircraft. Final leg of the trip. Nice cold weather now. Morning.
We ride, but sometimes that lies to us, so getting out here is going to be a little bumpy, a little sporty, so make sure your seatbelt is tightly fastened. I've asked the flight attendant to stay seated, so I'll give them a call, give them a go-ahead. So if it is rough, when we get to altitude, I'll just cancel service, let it smooth. I'll turn them loose to give y'all some drinks. Again, thank you, Vince. Welcome aboard. See y'all in Maui.
No, never forget it.
And as you prepare us for our departure, make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened, your seat back and tray table in your upright position at this time.
I'm going to be turning the overhead lights off. If you need a reading light, it's a gray button right above your head.
On that flight, just one leg of it, I was getting between 5 to 12 microsieverts of exposure. Now, a dental x-ray is around 5 microsieverts of exposure, just a single shot, and then a panorama one is about 25. And so my number might be kind of low, like as far as my exposure, because I did see it vary quite a bit. Like I saw the radiation actually go up more than the rest of the trip when I was over Montana for some reason. It kind of spiked. And so the radiation that you're being exposed to at cruising altitude, it isn't uniform, but it does average out to probably like right around 1.5 microsieverts to 2 microsieverts per hour. And so that's not that bad. I mean, if I was working as a pilot or part of an air crew, that might be a little bit more concerning just because of the amount of radiation that you're actually getting from that job. I also really regret not bringing a drone to Hawaii. I should have brought one. I was just looking at the flight map and it looked super crowded. Like there was a lot of restricted airspace because of Pearl Harbor being there and a bunch of other training facilities that are around the island. So I was thinking, I don't need to bring my drone, but I could have made it work, and I should have made it work because there were some beautiful shots that I missed. So you actually get more radiation exposure on a flight like this than you do from spending all day at the Trinity Site where they detonated the first atomic bomb. So that's pretty amazing. And it's something to kind of keep in your mind when you're thinking about radiation exposure and every time you step onto a flight. Anyway, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Take it easy.